Hello everybody and welcome to my video, Getting Tidier. I hope you're all well. Massive thank you to those of you that have recently joined. Nearly on 3,000 subscribers. I'm getting really close now. Now thank you for commenting on my video and saying if you're interested in one of my macrame plant hangers that I handmade myself. Could you please, I've got a list of people's names. Now, if you are interested and you want to go in with the prize draw, could you comment on this video, please? Because I've been going back through all of my videos and because some of my videos get about 100 comments, I'm worried that I might miss someone. So these are the people that I've got listed. Jessica Stedman, Linda Hayes, Carrie Rawson, Barbara Palmore, Runs Mornings, Nan Holmes and Holly782. If you have already commented previously to say you are interested or you are interested in one of my macrame plant hangers, please comment on this video and you will be put into the draw once I get to 3,000 subscribers. So this is a busy video where you'll see me trying to maintain a lot of what I've done, and towards the end of the video I spend a lot of time tackling one of our cupboards. Now I unfortunately thought that the cupboard was half full and I could put all my luggage bags, my travel bags, my suitcases even back in this bag. Now I don't know where I got this idea from, and I can't now work out where the suitcases actually go. Maybe they go in the Halloween and Easter cupboard, and what I do is I put the Easter things in the suitcase. I mean, it's so ridiculous. I'm going to get so close to holiday, then it's going to be, I'll be going away by the time I get the suitcases put away, I'll be getting ready to go on holiday for the summer. It's like ridiculous. So I opened this cupboard up thinking, there's going to be loads of space in here and I'll stack the suitcases inside each other and I'll put them all in the cupboard. And I thought, cool, the door feels a bit tight. Yeah, because there's absolutely bursting. And then I remembered it's got all our camping stuff in there. There's some toys in there and some clothes in there. So I ended up sorting out quite a lot of things. There's a few of my cuddly toys in there, which, to be honest, I can't even remember. I don't know where they come from. I don't know what they're to do with. I don't know why I'm really keeping them in the loft cupboard. And then I've also got a big box, and that was probably, I had this box when I was about 18 with some shoes that I bought. And it's full of photos from when me and my husband were dating, photos from when we were like newly married, when we went to see Travis in concert and different concert pictures, concerts that I went to with my sister and things. Half the photographs you can't really see because they're so blurred or they're duplicates. And then also I've got all my letters that my husband wrote to me when he was in Las Vegas. And I'm quite sure that at the time I had a bit of a moan and said I didn't get many letters. And then I looked through this pile. He wrote me a lot of letters while he was away and I've kept them all. And I thought, I know what I'm going to do. Why am I keeping them in the loft cupboard? I can put them, when I was sorting the wardrobe in the playroom and I cleared loads of space, didn't I, in that drawer in the wardrobe. I got other photos in there. So I can put all the photos that I want to keep in the same box. So that will create a bit of space in the loft cupboard because I've already created a bit of space in the wardrobe door. Then we've got some Playmobil toys. We've got the garage that we bought long before we thought about having children. We got from the car boot sale. But actually my daughter never really played with the garage. So I thought, I don't know why we're keeping that. I don't think my husband ever had a Playmobil garage when he was little. I didn't. So we just kind of kept it because we liked it. And then my daughter never really played with it. So I thought, we could probably get rid of that. That's going to be quite a lot of space. There's a Playmobil bus, but I might keep that because it's quite small. And then there's loads of clothes, some of which I don't really have any emotional attachment to and I can't really remember. Then I found all my breastfeeding express stuff. Oh, and when I saw the little express bottles, honestly, I know it sounds really, really ridiculous because it's a long time ago now, but I nearly burst into tears. There's this tiny little container, and to begin with, it was really well. I never was particularly good at expressing. I never really could express much milk, but I can remember when we got into a bit of a routine, when my husband was in Ipswich or London, I would express on and off throughout the whole day, and I'd end up with an amount of milk that then when my daughter woke in the middle of the night, she was about 7 months at that point, and I've really got like a zombie with no sleep. So my husband then used to get up to her first, and that would allow me to then doze. So he would feed her the little amount that I'd expressed all day, and then he'd bring her through to me to have like another feed, and then she'd be put down back into the cot. But when I started, I had the tiny little pot, and I could just about fill that up. And then I sort of, as I got more used to it, I then started filling up the bigger bottle. But some women, they can express bottles and bottles and bottles, but I never could. But that really brought back a lot of memories for me. And my husband said I said, well, it can all go into recycling, can't it? I mean, there's no point keeping it. And then I start looking at the little pot and thinking, oh, maybe I should keep the little pot. But it's silly. There's no point keeping it at all. I could just put it all in plastic recycling. I've also got loads of papers. Now, the good news is I'm making this guy and we've not got any newspaper. So I contacted sort of an extended family, part of the extended family, and because she always gets a newspaper, but loads of her newspapers were taken. The recycling's just been collected. So she'd got a few newspapers. So we've got those, but I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll go through my piles and piles of papers, and I've got insurance documents and mortgage statements that are years old. So I thought, and then all the photos that I don't want to keep, I thought, right, they can be stuffed into Guy Fawkes's legs. Just need to get some more stuff for the rest of his body. I can't remember whether I told you all about me and my daughter going to the charity shop to ask for these clothes. These ladies are quite rude to me. And I've been in there, gone in there for years, and I ask for the clothes, any top or trousers, ideally a hoodie, they're gonna put in their rags, so things that aren't sellable in the shop, and then I pay some money. Because there's no point me buying shirts and trousers that are good quality that are actually just going to be burnt. And they were quite rude, unfortunately, which is that I've never had that before. I think initially she thought that I was asking for them for free. And then I said, oh, I'm not expecting them for free. I said I would like to put some money in the pot. I'm giving them more money for a couple of things with stains and marks on than what they would if they got sent for rags. But there you go. We got a hoodie and we got a pair of trousers. So we've been stuffing them all today with all the different papers that we've been sorting out. So you can see my kitchen's not too bad. I have been keeping on top of the kitchen. I can't remember whether I told you all about me and my daughter going to the charity shop to ask for these clothes. These ladies are quite rude to me. And I've been in there, gone in there for years, and I ask for the clothes, any top or trousers, ideally a hoodie, they're gonna put in their rags, so things that aren't sellable in the shop, and then I pay some money. Because there's no point me buying shirts and trousers that are good quality that are actually just going to be burnt. And they were quite rude, unfortunately, which is that I've never had that before. I think initially she thought that I was asking for them for free. And then I said, oh, I'm not expecting them for free. I said I would like to put some money in the pot. I'm giving them more money for a couple of things with stains and marks on than what they would if they got sent for rags. But there you go. We got a hoodie and we got a pair of trousers. So we've been stuffing them all today with all the different papers that we've been sorting out. So you can see my kitchen's not too bad. I have been keeping on top of the kitchen. The hob is all cleaned. I've been polishing the sink, which is one of the things that Fly Lady tells you, isn't it? So I'm not moved any further on Fly Lady than polishing the sink, but I am regularly polishing the sink. I did that big vat of bolognese, and I've ended up with 3 containers in total that have gone into the freezer. So this month, everything that I get from my channel, I don't get large amounts of money, but everything that I do get will be donated to Soul Foundation. Now, Soul Foundation is a charity which does work across Norfolk. They also do some work internationally, but I'm going to ask for the money that I raise to go towards their specific projects in Norfolk. And as I've talked about before, they do a whole mix of different things. So they provide a supermarket where people can come in, pay £5, they can go around and choose all the different things that they want. They maybe have a bag of shopping that's worth, say, £30 or £40, but they will pay £5 for it. They also do initiatives within the city where they feed people that are homeless, and they help people, as I've described before, which prevent people from falling through the net. That they believe that everybody should have an opportunity, everyone should have a chance, and they acknowledge that sometimes people fall on hard times. So know that every time you comment on the video, every time you like a video, every time you watch a video, and if you really like one of my videos you find a bit boring, even if you watch it a little bit longer, then you are going to help raise more money. If you watch a bit more of that advert, if you watch an old video, it's all going to help raise more money for the charity. So we had a nice day today. So this is the last day that I'm on holiday for. Tomorrow I'm back at work, although I'm not doing a full day tomorrow, just a part day in the morning. But today we got up quite late, me and my daughter. My husband was working from home. My daughter watched some television, and we had breakfast in bed, and then I did some more work on the cupboard, trying to sort through things. And then we came downstairs and my daughter finished off her newspaper report that she had to do. So we didn't do loads in the morning. Then we had lunch, and after lunch we've just been doing things like decorating the house for Halloween and making our guy. And we decorated some things outside of the house as well, put some lights up. I've got some lights from like one of these online sites, like probably from China or something, a couple of years ago, and they arrived really, really late. So we decided to get them out this year. So my husband put the batteries in and we put them outside. And then as we were decorating, I was thinking to myself, oh, it's Thursday and I've not seen my dad for about 5 or 6 weeks. And then just as I was thinking that, he drove up. So he's been on holiday a couple of different places, and then he got some like nasty lurgy, and then his partner got it as well, and then we had a bit of a cold, so I didn't want him to get that. He's still got the leftovers of a cough, but he's much, much better. So he came in and made him a cup of tea, and he helped with making the guy. And because he's made guys so many times when he was younger, he was giving me some tips in terms of attaching the body to the legs. So we did that, and then he stayed until about 4:45, and then the trick-or-treaters started to come around. And I'm going to see if I can find a way of uploading one of the videos from my house camera. It was hilarious. So I'm not overly keen on Halloween. I'm not that keen on trick-or-treating, although I would say it's become a lot more common and popular in the last couple of years. I know I said before about how the tradition goes back to Scotland, but I read somewhere that it's Irish. Maybe it's Celtic, I'm not sure. But this year my daughter said that she wanted to stay at home and she didn't want to go and look at the displays or trick-or-treating, and that she wanted to stay in and scare people at home. And it was quite funny. So she had her werewolf mask and I had a mask and was dressed up completely in black. And people were running from the door. It was so funny. So funny. Some of them were like teenagers who probably at school make out that, they're really big and tough. and some of the boys were like screaming. I think it was because we had like the music, so we had some music at the door that sounded a bit spooky, and then I undid the door really slowly and made it rattle a little bit. So that was the anticipation of what's going on. Then I had my sort of like autumnal display with a couple of pumpkins and a couple of gourds, and then I was burning a candle. So I think this is probably the music made them a little bit wary. And then with opening the door very slowly and then seeing someone, I was completely dressed in black with like a black mask. Oh, it made me laugh. It really did. And then my daughter went to bed quite late tonight because there was more trick-or-treaters than what we've ever had before. So it was nice just being in for a change. Usually we'll put some sweets on the door, and then you always get, like last year, I caught on the camera, there was someone dressed up as like Scooby-Doo or something. It's very, in other countries, so like I think in America, people tend to dress up as like anything, don't you? Like people will dress up as like Mickey Mouse or Scooby-Doo. That doesn't happen here. So the fact that Scooby-Doo was on the loose last year was very, very unusual. Here, people dress up as witches, monsters, ghosts, ghouls, which is that Celtic tradition. But last year, this big Scooby-Doo character literally came and took all the sweets my daughter had put out. He just filled up his entire bucket and apparently went up and down all the roads and near the area that we live and did the same everywhere. And I think he got a bit of a surprise because I then posted about it in a local Facebook group, and his foster mother saw the post and said, "I'm very, very, very sorry. I've got the big pile of sweets here and I've got the buckets. Would you like me to donate it to a charity, or would you like the sweets back?" So I said, "Thank you for being so honest and thank you for speaking to him about this. I would like the sweets back that were taken and I'll give them to my Girl Guides." So she actually came in to Girl Guides and gave them to me, which I thought was very good approach and kind of good message for Scooby-Doo. So you can see I'm sorting out the table. Now, since I introduced this idea with my basket with all my daughter's school books on that table, that has worked quite well. There is often lots left on the table, but as we get better and better at this, then my plan is that at the end of each day, my daughter will then put the things in the basket. That's the plan. So we're getting to the point we haven't got many days left of the holidays. So most of the work that she's got left to do will be revision and writing out her revision products. But the good thing is we're going to have family come round in the evening tomorrow. My husband will do some burgers and we'll have some salad. My mum's going to do barbecue beans, and we'll have sparklers, fireworks and a big bonfire where we'll put the guy on top of the bonfire. All we've got left to do on the guy is finish off his face and head, and then he's done. So I'm going to go through some of your comments in a minute. Before I do, I just wanted to say about my top tip. So my top tip for today's video, as we approach the colder weather and Christmas time, is to declutter a jumper. Now, I've taken this idea from Zoe. Thanks, Zoe. So what I would like you all to do, depending upon whether you've done this recently, is have a think next time you're looking at your jumpers, your sweaters, your pullovers, any jumper that you don't feel good in, any jumper that you're not that keen on, any jumper that's a bit past it, think about putting it in the charity bag. So that is my top tip of today's video. Look out for each video, I shall be doing a top tip. So I'm going to go through some of your comments. So thank you very, very much for taking the time to add comments to my videos. I very much appreciate it. I read every single one, and I've got a little system now. I reply to them all, and then when I've read them out, I then put a little heart on them so I know that I've read them out. Now, of course, I can't read every single comment out, but I just wanted to say thank you to those of you that do comment, because I do read them all, even if I don't read them all out. So, first comment from Cynthia Miller. Cynthia says, "Dear Emma, you hit the nail on the head when you said how hard it is to declutter and keep things tidy when certain things don't have a home. That's the whole trick, assigning a home for every little thing. It could be a plastic tub, a basket, a shelf, a cupboard, or a closet. An old saying still holds true. A place for everything and everything in its place." I think my mum says that. "I have a place in my home for every little tack, paperclip and piece of paper. Each day I take 10 minutes and pick things up and put them where they belong." So Brooke replied to that, and she said, "One thing I've noticed is that Emma does not have many drawers. Most of us Americans tend to have at least one junk drawer where we keep all those little bits. Emma did a very good job cleaning out her junk drawer earlier this year, and I'm wondering if she's hesitant to put more back in it." You're right, Brooke. I can't have that drawer turned back into the junk drawer, because at the moment I know where everything is in that drawer. Nearly everything. I couldn't find a particular grippy tin jar opener. I don't know what they're called. You know, the things that grip the top of the jar and undo the jar. I don't know where that is. I thought that would be in that drawer, but it wasn't when I looked for it the other day. But generally speaking, most things I can now find in the kitchen. However, this whole thing, look at it and decide where you would look to find that. I do understand the logic of that, and a few people have said that to me. But often I do stare at things and think, right, let me put this into practice. Where would I look for this? And the answer is that I would never look for it in the first place. So that works with some things. If I pick up a pair of, sewing scissors, where would I look for that? I'd look for that in my sewing basket, so I'm going to put it in my sewing basket. I get all that, but there are many things that I have in my house, and I look at it and think, where would I look for that? And the answer is, I never would. So where do you put those things, if they're things that you want to keep? So that is a good idea, apart from those random things which you wouldn't ever look for. Right, okay, next comment is from Natasha N. Sawney. "Towards the end of the video, you were sitting on the ground working. I was sorting something out in my room, and I happened to look at the screen, and what I saw was you, Emma, with the loveliest smile and glow, as you were gazing upon someone you absolutely love. It was incredibly heartwarming, and I loved it. Love from Natasha." Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's really nice. I'm glad you shared that with me. And what a coincidence that you looked up just at that moment. Now, what I did, Natasha, was I watched the video back to find out where you were talking about, because I didn't remember that. And I saw the bit. It was when I'd got my blanket all laid out, and I was looking at where I was going to sew my badges. And my little legs, had gone upstairs, and she had got her own blanket, and she'd brought her blanket down, and she was showing me it. And as I turned to look at her, she was holding her blankets, and that made me, I then gave her a big smile. M. Faircloth says, "Hi Emma, loving all your videos. As someone who freelanced in various roles for 15 years to now only having one office job, my advice on your 4 jobs is keep them. It works. You make a plan to fit them around your life and your life around them. The only job I think takes advantage of your time and good heart is the guide's volunteer work." That's interesting. That's interesting, Em. I never know whether I can call you Emma or not, M. Faircloth. That's an interesting comment on the day that I got various emails. Bearing in mind it's half term, and I got various emails from the district lady to say that this was outstanding and that was outstanding, and somebody else is on the waiting list and they've been on the waiting list too long. Well, partly the reason why I haven't done so much admin on that list the last couple of weeks, apart from the fact that it's half term, is because I was managing that list, and then you know that whole thing where they tried to open a new girl guide group and that completely flopped because nobody turned up. Other people have been going on to our list and making changes. So there was one particular girl who was invited to another group. She did not want to go to another group. I'd been holding a space for her come September, and suddenly I went on there because a space became available for her and her friend, and she disappeared. So I got a bit frustrated trying to manage my list when lots of other people were making changes and interfering with it. So I've not done much on that. In regards to not having homes for things in your house that need a home, M says, but where? I usually ask myself, where do I use this? Or where do I always go to look for this item? And why do I look there? Hopefully those simple questions help you find homes that you can remember, because it's easy to forget where all the homes are. Yeah, that is good. That is absolutely right. I think what I need to do is show you all the types of items where I've got no idea where I look for them. And then you'll see what my challenge is. I've got a massive great bucket now full of piles of things that I don't know where to put them. M says, thank you for sharing knowledge on layering bulbs. I'm going to try that. Oh, that'd be nice. So have you decided what bulbs you're going to do yet? Are you going to do hyacinths, tulips, daffodils? Thank you for so proud that you got rid of 20 plus books and Christmas goodies. I'm thinking of book on the anniversary of her husband. Thank you, Em, for saying that. And M sends lots of love and strength to Brooke. That's very kind of you to write that. Sandy says, beautiful flowers you've got. Carolyn says, when my daughter was in Girl Scouts, they wore a green vest that we sewed badges on. Now, I did say back to Carolyn, I've made a mistake with some of these badges. I got so focused because I don't put any badges on my top. I got really focused on sewing all the badges on, and some badges I've sewed onto the blanket, which should be on her top. And then what I do is I sew the top onto the blanket. So she's got her rainbow top, her brownies top, and then she'll have her guides top. And she pointed out to me that some of the badges that should be on her top, I've put on her blanket. Now the answer, of course, to that is me cutting them off the blanket and sewing them onto the top, which I haven't done yet because really I struggle for time. Nan Holmes says, happy Wednesday afternoon from North Carolina. I think you're making great progress. Thank you ever so much for saying that. Linda Hay says, I would love to enjoy your macrame plant hangers. My plants are begging me to find them better light. Blessings to you and your family. Thank you, Linda, and to yours as well. So the next comment is from Kotarine Kochan. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Kotarine says, we do have cream eggs in America around Easter. Also, lots of candy bars here get smaller and more expensive all of the time. Also, badgers in North America are more ferocious than those in the UK. Oh, really? If you do an internet search, you'll see the difference. Okay, I will do. I know badgers in the United Kingdom can be very, very strong. Very, very strong and attack other animals. That is interesting. I will Google that. Thank you for that information. Brooke says, that's funny, as I thought we saw you put away that bag of Christmas decor in your loft storage. I know. I can't believe what's happened. The only thing I can wonder is, when I actually get all my Christmas decorations out, I wonder whether I'm going to find it there at the back. And my good idea somehow went to pot. Maybe I put all the items in there and then had to shuffle everything around to get it all in. And then the bag I was going to give to charity and donate somehow got moved round. That's so frustrating. I really thought I was quite clever getting that bag right at the front. Brooke says, we're going to plant bulbs in the grounds by my grandparents' graves. Can you do layering? without a pot? Yes, you can. So you just need to dig a bit deeper hole, and even if that says for like the ones that you're going to put down the lowest, so the taller ones, even if that says plant them, I don't know, 10 inches deep or whatever, you can still plant them further down. So do one layer of bulbs and then put a little bit of soil on top, and then do another layer, put a little bit of soil on top, and then another layer, and they'll come up in a lovely display. I think that's a really nice idea to do it for a grave. Brooke says, I used most of my gift certificate for a massage this afternoon. I'm so relaxed I could nap. I look forward to seeing your plants this winter. So what was your gift certificate for? Was that for your birthday, Brooke? And who was that from? I'm interested in watching your church online. Our only service is at 9 o'clock and is live on Facebook. I'm going to get the link from the last service. Now, the last service is not the senior pastor, and the senior pastor is amazing, but the last service was very good. A lot of effort had been put in by a man called Matt. I understand about feeling like you don't get a break. When I was teaching, I had the whole summer off. Now I'm always needing to check emails as well. Yeah, you don't feel like you can ever get away. I think partly with the whole thing with smartphones now, you don't ever feel like you can get away. I used to say to people when I used to go on holiday, if there's anything urgent, and I'd give my mum's details. But now there's so many things that you actually need a phone for. So when I used to go on holiday, I used to not check my phone. Or back in the day, when you didn't have the internet on your phone, you'd have to go into like an internet cafe to check your emails. And I should just do that once on the whole holiday. I miss some of that. It's good to have that sort of instant communication, but also it's nice to actually feel like you can get a proper break. Brooke is advising me to give them invigilating a miss. She's put, yes, give the invigilating a miss. I'm so sorry, Christy from SC. My thoughts and prayers are with you as you decide if you're going to rebuild on your property or move. Yeah, hopefully we'll get an update from Christy when she gets a chance. She's probably got her hands full with a load of things going on at the moment. 32% of my ancestry is English. I know I had one grandparent from Ireland and another great-grandparent from Scotland. My husband's family was almost exclusively Welsh. So for this 32%, Brooke, and you've got a grandparent from Ireland, so I'm guessing that's Ireland and not Northern Ireland, and then you've got a great-grandparent from Scotland. Do you know where? For both Ireland and Scotland, have you got an idea where that would be and what names? I'm curious, what is the black box at the end of the couch in your lounge? That black box, that was when I used to buy things to fill my house up full, and somebody advertised that locally as an old box they'd had in their shed, and I saw it and thought how nice it was and that I wanted it. And it's a wooden box, it's very, very solid, and I bought it because I liked it. And that's sort of it, really. When I was a teacher, my principal would hold up her hand towards me when she would talk about things that we needed to teach our kindergartners. When I was a teacher, my principal would hold up her hand towards me when she would talk about things that we needed to teach our kindergartners. I'm not sure I know what you mean. Although as a teacher, my bachelor's degree is in human growth and development because I always wanted to be a counsellor. She knew that I would fuss about what she was expecting of us students was not developmentally appropriate. Oh, I see. What, so she'd hold up her hand so you didn't give your opinion? I think a lot of this is about protecting children. These are children. They're not emotionally able to deal with some of the things that people want to talk to them about. There is a saying about every child needs an adult whose eyes light up when they come into the room. When you were sorting out the badges, I'm not sure if it was your daughter or your husband came in, but your eyes definitely lit up. That's really nice that you noticed that as well, Brooke. A couple of other people noticed that. I had to watch the video back to see what people were talking about. And it was my daughter. My daughter came down with her blankets because she saw me with my blanket. She got her blanket and was checking what badges she's got on hers. I don't know how to add pictures to a video, so no additions to YouTube. Jason loved to travel, so he went to see the Trolls to honour the 2nd anniversary of his death. I just think that is such a lovely way to mark the anniversary and to think about your husband, particularly as he really loved travelling, and that's something that he would really like to do. But what a super way to mark the anniversary. I think that's such a lovely idea. If you're willing to share a picture of any trolls, you could message them to me. You could either email them to me, or you could, if you're on Instagram, are you on Instagram? You could find me Getting Tidier on Instagram and send it to me there. You are definitely a joy to listen to. You have created a wonderful community. Aw, thank you, Brooke. I see your cold coffee on the lounge floor. I loved iced coffee. I read something yesterday about while you're going over your notes for tests to make an online scribble, not picking up your writing utensils on a piece of paper. It crosses the midline and helps you retain the information longer. I think that's fascinating about the midline. I don't know enough about that. I know a little bit about that. My sisters talked to me about that. I had to laugh when you read out Karen's comment about being afraid that they are talking over your channel with their comments. I always have way too much to say. No, you don't. I love your comments. I haven't seen any of his videos in years, but one from Joshua Becker just popped up. He was who I followed to do my decluttering. Are you familiar with him? No, I'm not. I've never heard of him, but I'm going to look him up on YouTube, like some of the other recommendations I've had. I now forget which animal you asked about that lives in the United States. I think you mentioned a badger. We had one in our front yard a few years ago. Yes, that was a badger that I was asking about. I'd love to see one in the United Kingdom, and I've never been lucky enough. Karen says, no to invigilating this time round. They will always welcome you back another time, especially as you are giving them a new person. November is going to be a no-spend month for me, except for actual house expenses and food. No ordering in fast food or going to drive-thrus, no beauty budget, nothing but gas for the car. I thought that was a very good idea, and I mentioned it to my husband and daughter, and we all agreed that for the month of November we're not going to get our normal chips out. So normally we get fish and chips, or chips and a pineapple fritter, or chips and halloumi on a Friday night. We're not going to do that. My husband's going to make them. So thank you for that suggestion, Karen. I'm going to join in. I think that's a really good idea, particularly given how December tends to be quite an expensive month. So thank you for sharing that. Carolyn, referring to the invigilating, she says definitely give that a miss, but what did make me laugh is that was all in capitals. That says definitely give that a miss, please. That made me smile. Helen P said, you're running around after your daughter and husband far too much, Emma. It's dragging you backwards. Go on strike. Couple of things about that. If I went on strike, when I then clocked back in, went back off strike, I'd have an awful lot to sort out. So that would not help me in the long term. And secondly, my daughter is very, very busy. And yes, there's things that I do for my daughter, and I probably could get her to do more. But she does have a lot of schoolwork. She does not have that much downtime. So the downtime that she does have, I'm more than happy with her setting up a little beautician shop, or going off and making something, or like she's done recently made a little game, rather than, put her own washing away. That's something that I will then do for her. And then with my husband, he does do a lot of the food. So like at weekends, he'll do the breakfasts, lunches and dinners, prepare and plan. He'll also do meals during the week. He does breakfast every day for all of us. So there are things, to use the term running around, there are things where he's running around after me, if you see what I mean. Linda Van Ustel. Linda says, hello everyone. I would love to share a photo of the bear, but I'm not sure how to. Emma, do you have an email address for the channel? So I've said to Linda she can either contact me on my Instagram, Getting Tidier. If she doesn't have Instagram, I've given her my email address. So yeah, absolutely. We'd love to see them. And if you're happy for me to share them, then I'll put them on one of my videos. Thank you. Wendy Jones also says, sounds like you should skip the invigilating. You sound as though you would like to. I do, but I don't know. I sort of think it's a good idea, and then I think I don't want to do it, then I think I do. So it's a bit tricky. And then the next comment is from Pam. And Pam says, hi Emma, it's great to see you. Hearing you mention you've never been to Dorset, I've just come home from there. We were away for just over 2 weeks. Our family that live there, we did our usual visits, Corfe Castle, Lulworth Cove to see Durdle Door, Swanage. We also went to the resting place of Lawrence of Arabia and the lovely church nearby where they held his funeral. Wow. During the war, the beautiful stained glass windows were blown out. They replaced them with regular glass, but etched scenes on them. Oh, they were a treat to be seen. We also visited Weymouth for a couple of days. Thankfully, the weather was mostly dry. Great time away, but nice to be home. I missed my grandchildren so much. Oh, you're such a lovely grandmother. Not far away from 3,000 subscribers now. Well done, you. That sounds like a really lovely place. And it also sounds like there's loads and loads to do there. I think I need to, over the next few years, think about some of these places that I've not been to in the United Kingdom and make a plan to go to see them. I think it's really important for my daughter to get a good, understanding of different parts of the country. There's so many places in the United Kingdom to go to. We have taken her to a lot of places. So we've taken her to like Bath, York, Durham, obviously the northeast areas, quite a few places in the northeast. I would like to take her to Northern Ireland. I did mention to my in-laws, I thought that would be quite nice for my in-laws to go to Northern Ireland with her. But then they went with my sister-in-law, so I don't think they'll want to go back again anytime soon. But I just think it's quite nice to see where your kind of history, because that's her great-granddad is from Northern Ireland. So we've travelled quite a few places in England, but I've not taken her to Ireland, Wales or Scotland. So there's plenty more places for us to show her. And now, of course, including Dorset.
The portrait is Lady Constance
So if you've got
Lothian,
this far, then thank you
wife of
so
the eighth
much
Marquess,
for watching my video
and she lived here
and
with
supporting
her husband
me
until
and
his
encouraging
death,
me,
until
cheering
she
me
died
on.
in 1901.
And I thought I'd just show you a few clips. So you may remember that I said about how myself, my husband and daughter had gone to Blickling Hall's grounds and we'd just gone on a walk. We went back, me, my mum and my daughter, and to have a little look, really because of the connections with Anne Boleyn. So the Boleyn family lived here. There are parts of the house which the house was in the grounds. So it wasn't this house, the house in the grounds, but there's part of the house which is connected. So, for example, where Anne Boleyn was born, there was the outline of the house, and then another house was built connected to that. So it's quite interesting how it was all done. We also learnt about Black Shark, who is a Norfolk legend. So it's a large creature that has been seen by many people, often around dusk in the Norfolk countryside and across the Blickling estate. bigger than a dog. And there's lots of sort of stories connected to it that people have talked about Black Shuck for many, many, many years. And hopefully you also saw the long room where people used to walk up and down for exercise, particularly when it was winter or when it was cold. I felt like the house was quite dark when we visited, but it's because it was quite cloudy outside, and of course they don't have lots and lots of electric lights. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Hope you've enjoyed the little snippets that I've added at the end. Thank you very much for your ongoing support and help and guidance, and look forward to